Afternoon, Coach. Jacob
Hey, Mark.
just said that, I asked him about, it seems like watching these games, there's a difference when you play these same teams over and over and the way the schedule, plays out. And he said he couldn't put his finger on it, but there's definitely a difference. From a coaching standpoint, do you see the difference, and is there a difference in the way you prepare as opposed to the regular schedule?
Well, obviously it makes pre-scouting a lot easier just because you're seeing the same teams over and over again, and it just, I think it becomes more about what you're doing night in and night out, because I think there's an understanding of the teams you're playing. You know them a little bit better, and I think it becomes more about you than it does the opponent. I mean, that's usually the case anyway, but I think really when you have this much familiarity with your opponent, it's about execution. It's about being consistent with your approach, and you do those things, you're going to give yourself a chance to win night in and night out.
Dave, Alex just told us that he is playing tomorrow night, so I wanted to ask you, about the decision to go with Igor last night and to go with Alex tomorrow. I wonder if going with Alex tomorrow has anything to do with the fact that Igor didn't win last night, or was that predetermined, or what? And what have you seen from Alex in practice the last week or so?
Yeah, it was predetermined. Alex was going to play regardless of what happened with Shesty last night, whether we won or lost. So, I mean, Georgie's looked good. He's looked good. He looks like he's dialed in, ready to go, and he's anxious to get back in there. It's been a little while, so I know he's looking forward to getting back in the net, and we're looking forward to having him in the net.
A couple of things about the power play. Is the power play basically just a function of how well its components are playing at even strength too? And if they're having a tough time, is there anything that can jumpstart the power play? And the second question is the second unit. Have you considered moving Keandre back onto it and not going with the 4 forwards?
Yeah, that's something we've talked about, Larry, and I do believe that, usually when your power play is struggling, it might be a microcosm of some of the guys that are on it not playing well 5-on-5 or struggling 5-on-5. I certainly think that is a little bit of a carryover there with our power play. I also think there's a frustration level that happens on a power play. When you get highly skilled guys, sometimes they change their approach, and they I call it, they play power play instead of hockey within a power play, and I think that's kind of happening to us right now. We're just a little bit too methodical, we're too slow, we're too predictable, and I think we're overthinking it. So, there'll be some changes tomorrow night, and as much as you can move personnel around and things like that, there has to be more of a pace and more of a work ethic to our power play overall.
I'm wondering if you find it, I don't know if surprising is the right word, but what your take on it is that you guys have really reduced the number of shots and chances that you're allowing, but at the same time, offensively, you've got guys struggling and you're not putting up maybe as many points as you guys had anticipated with the skill you have. So what do you kind of make of that shift a little bit here so far in the season?
Well, we don't have to sacrifice offense to play good defense. That's something we touched on today, and I think our approach offensively has to get a little bit grittier. We got to be a little harder offensively. And it's been a problem since I've been here that we too often rely on our skill and don't combine it with the straightforward approach and a little bit of a sandpaper to our game offensively. And you can sit here and talk about having all the skill you want, but if you don't get on the inside and you don't go to the net consistently, you're not going to reward yourself because you let people own the middle of the rink. And I don't care how skilled you are, you're not going to generate offense that way. So I think part of it is our approach. We've got to redefine it a little bit. We've got to have a little bit, and we've talked about this for a while. We've just got to be a little bit more simplistic to our approach offensively, which will allow our skill to influence the game.
Hey, Coach. I'd like to ask you about Libor Hayek. What does he bring to the game of Rangers? Do you see him improving game by game?
I do. I liked his game last night. I think Libor moves well. I think he plays hard. He's got good stick and puck skills, and it's been a tough 2 years for him with the injuries. Put him a little bit behind the 8 ball. Other guys have kind of had an opportunity and run with it, and I think he's had 2 pretty good games. I like the direction his game's going.
Yeah, again, if I could just follow up a little on the power play,
Yep.
plus ask a second question. Do you think that your first unit, or at least, say, Mika, Artemi, and Chris, is there an adjustment to be made to Fox from D'Angelo?
Not really. I think, Foxy and Tony bring similar qualities to that power play, Larry, and I really do. I don't think, both of them aren't heavy shooters. Both of them have good patience. Both of them can slow it down, maybe sometimes to a detriment on the power play. And both of them have great hockey IQ. So they're very similar in their approach. But so I don't think that's been much of an issue. Matter of fact, I thought early on for about a week and a half, 10 days, that power play with Foxy on it was very good, and was good, even though they may not have been scoring. Lately, we haven't been scoring, and we haven't looked good on it. So we certainly have deteriorated a little bit from that end of it.
Thanks. And the second was, what did you think of Vautier's game last night, and is there a path for him to get more ice time?
Yeah, I thought his game was better last night, and there's always a path for a player to get more ice time based on how they play. So, we spent a lot of time with him here, going over the things he's going to need to do consistently. And, it's always hard for a guy who's always scored his whole life to kind of maybe accept a different role at this level. And I think Julian's going through that right now. I think he can score at this level. How much is yet to be determined, but, I thought he made a step forward last night.
Dave, to follow up a little bit or get back to the goalie situation, before what happened with Alex happened, you had said that your plan had been to alternate your goalies for at least a little while. And I wonder now whether that is going to be the plan going forward, or is it a new plan, or what do you anticipate you might be doing with your goalie rotation going forward?
Yeah, it's all based on how they play right now. Obviously, we thought, obviously with what happened in the last 10 days and Shesty kind of playing well, it kind of did alter the plan a little bit, and we'll see how it goes game to game right now. And, as I said when we decided to do that, I didn't know how long it was going to happen, and I didn't anticipate it to be only for 2 games. But some things happen unexpectedly, and you kind of adapt to it. And so, again, we have faith in both these guys, and, if Georgie plays well, he'll play more often.
David, how do you sense that Alex has handled everything with his name being in the news and then all these rumors and stuff in the last 10 days or so? And do you sense that getting him back in the game is important to kind of give him a little normalcy and let him focus on hockey instead of the other stuff for a little bit?
Yeah, I think he's handled it well. We've all moved past what happened. It's been over a week now, and, our guys are in a good spot, and he's in a good spot, and, he's looked good in practice, and I think it is important. It's important for him to get in the net for a variety of reasons. We're going to need him, 1, and 2, he wants to play. So, I think it will help continue to move forward here, but I think he's pretty much moved forward anyway. But it's going to be good to get him back in because, like I said, we need him.